sweet tea. Take my sweet tea away, and I might just have a panic attack too. Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Jannies of the Jannies Research and Development Institute here in lovely Excelsior Springs, Missouri. For the last 23 years, we here at the center have been tireless in our efforts to combat one of the most difficult, disabling, and mysterious conditions of our lifetime: anxiety. So what is anxiety exactly? Webster's dictionary defines anxiety simply as an abnormal and overwhelming sense of apprehension and fear, often marked by physiological signs. What you may not know is that anxiety is actually quite normal. For example, when going up in front of a large group of people to give a speech, those butterflies you might feel in your tummy are a form of anxiety. What about sitting at a desk? You've got a pencil in hand, ready to ace that big exam. Then negative thoughts flood your mind to the point where everything you studied the night before suddenly, poof, fades away. That is anxiety. Or when you lie awake at night thinking about that mortgage payment that is 3 months delinquent, your spouse is completely unaware. That too, my friend, is anxiety. But what about situations where anxiety takes hold and there are no obvious triggers or fears? Like the troubled woman in our opening story, for example. That is a question that echoes through the halls of every doctor, psychologist, and counselor's office every single day.
I had been a cement driver for the better part of my life. My dad owned a local cement company. So after high school, I just followed in my brother's footsteps and cemented my career there. Anyone that has worked in cement can tell you that after a long, hard day, you have this sense of immense pride. You drive on the roads and you think to yourself, I made this, and it feels incredible. It felt incredible for quite some time. Then I started having these moments where I couldn't breathe. And it was like somebody had their hands around my throat and then they squeezed tighter and tighter.
He would look at me and say, Jess, something just don't feel right. It feels like I have all these little pin prickles all over my body and I can't breathe.
No, I couldn't.
I have known this man long enough to know that when he says something is wrong, I better listen. I think the darkest hour I can recall is one night after I had fixed dinner and I noticed he was just swirling his fork around in his pasta, but not eating it. So I asked him if it tasted okay, and well, he looked at me like he wanted to shoot me right in the face. Then he started yelling at me about, I told you the doctor ordered me to cut back on my sodium intake, so why would you blanket serve me blanket beef stroganoff? And I'd never been asked that before, so I was left sitting there speechless. And then he picked up his plate and he tossed it down the hallway and almost hitting our dog, who's 19 years old, bless his heart.
Well, it was like all those feelings that had been pent up just erupted. And I was mad at her, but it wasn't the beef stroganoff. I think it all had something to do with having to deal with those feelings every single day. And they all just bubbled up to the surface. I did want to blow her face off, though.
It's frightening hearing that even today.
And one night, I'm laying in bed, watching TV, mind racing as usual. It's like 4 a.m. Then this guy comes on, and he starts talking about these same feelings that I've been having. You know, rapid heartbeats, shallow breathing, sweaty palms, mood swings. So, needless to say, I was locked in for the next hour, listening to this guy tell about his 13-step recovery plan. Now, I got to tell you that by nature, I am a skeptical man. So I kept waiting for the catch. You know, like, was I going to have to take a 13-pill regimen every day, or was I to buy one of those yoga mats? Let me tell you, I have not stretched a day in my life. So I didn't want anybody walking through the door and seeing me all bent up in some pretzel, you know what I mean? But once I heard that there was a money-back guarantee, I thought, what have I got to lose except my job and my family? So I bought the whole thing. And let me tell you, I would not be here today if it wasn't for Dr. Jannies' 13-step recovery program.
Me neither.
Nope.
When I first met Margie, she was just this mousy, clumsy intern, straight out of Binghamton University with stars in her eyes. She also had a doctor in her eyes. That doctor was me. Oh, she was mesmerized, fascinated by the way I walked, the way I talked, the way I built my organization from the ground up. Can you blame her? And I saw her as a beautiful, unexplored landscape that was just perfect for a new study I was conducting based on the fractured self-esteem. I noticed from my very first encounter with Margie that she was saddled with many nervous tics, stuttering, and an unattractive smile that really made everyone else feel more uncomfortable than anything. So I decided to take this battered bird under my mighty wing and allow her to spearhead my new research as test subject number 1. Love spawns from some of the most unusual places. I think we can all agree on that. Right, Margie?
Yes, Stephen. It seems like just yesterday I was this scared little girl from...
That was until I showed her what was to be the very first step in what is now my new program, Wanted, an Anxiety-Free You. That first step is, of course, acceptance. You must first accept the fact that you are like a puzzle, still in its box. Yet, you do not have the cognitive skills or physical ability to piece the puzzle together. You need help. Margie, would you be so kind as to share when you first accepted your fragile condition?
Oh gosh, Stephen, where do I begin? I was always this shy little girl, and I think my confidence was suppressed by my 2 older brothers, who would put food in my hair while I slept, and I would wake up with wet granola and cinnamon all throughout.
Specifically, though, I think we are more interested in how the acceptance came about through your treatment at our facilities.
Sure. Well, what I think I learned most about myself is that I am uncomfortable with eye contact. And I never really knew the negative side effects of that until I went in for an interview, and For the life of me, I could not maintain eye contact
When we
with
come back, I want to talk to you about an amazing new discovery that we at the Jannies Research and Development Institute have made just recently that will blow your socks off. Stay tuned.